Hey, let me show you the merge between a couple of concepts. I want to make sure you guys can see how cool this is. So I'm just going to use this particular template that we have. It's set up for doctor stuff. Okay. So it's just a generic template that we were using for pitching to certain doctors. Anyway, I'm just going to use this page. Don't judge. What do I want to show you? I want to show you we got our top menu stuff. Then we have just the basic content of the page. No images or anything thrown in here. We got a link to a previous post. Yeah, that's part of the content. Then we've got our sub footer and our footer, right? That's it. That's all we have on this page right now. But what did I say about sections? We can enable and disable sections and switch the order of the sections and watch how people scroll down and what they engage with and what they click off from, what they leave the page from. We can track everything for all the people. I want to give you a fast visual on how that works. So if I go into that this isn't very helpful, in the back end. Oh, okay. Let's do that. Ready? I'm going to go into that particular page. Okay. And on that page right now, those sections, those dynamic sections are disabled. What if I enable them? Aha. I've got all of these sections here, right? So I'm just going to show you this in a quick order. They're all flipped on, okay? So let's just say that was the update I was going to make, and pay no mind to the error coding there because we are actually updating functions as we go. And so I just know the crew's not working in there right now. So I'll just show you what we've got so far on this set. So let me refresh this very same page after enabling all the other possible sections that are involved in this template onto this particular page. And by the way, yes, I can absolutely choose all of the functions, the sections on a page-by-page basis. So I can enable them all or some of them. Now check this out. This is pretty cool. Now we've got this whole thing with a video going on here. View more about us, who we are. All that stuff is happening. We can come down to the blog section. We can read more about these blogs. They're just, moving forward on their own. But, I can click to any one of these. So just to show you how cool this is, right? Got a whole call to action. We've got like, hey, this is us. You should give us a call or whatever gets started. So there's that call to action section. Okay. Then we've got another section for celebrities and athletes, and we can go through those. Okay. Then we got another section with some stats, a trusted clinic. Why choose us? And that's the point. Why choose us? These are why. Then we've got all these clients that we serve logos, right? Again, every one of these sections is independent and can be flipped on or off independently on a page-by-page basis. Our location, stop by one of our locations. We have all these locations. You can book an appointment at, okay? We can flip it on or off. The building blocks of your journey, and then we've got sections like this. Everything's really cool, very responsive, very nice. It lays out beautifully. We can learn all kinds of things. Yeah, keep in mind, this is all sample stuff. Okay, so let me continue with the next point I want to make because I'm pretty much to the bottom of this page. Ah, yes. Okay. What do we got? Yeah, it's kind of neat. Okay, bunch of testimonials, and then we're closing the page out, right? Now that you've seen that, you've seen what's going on, I want to show you the next thing. So we have, let's say after our content comes the video, the who we are, and then read our blog, and then the call to action, then the celebrities. Say I want to move the celebrities above who we are, okay? Just to show you what that's like. I'm going to go to that particular section, okay, where it's all about celebrities, and move it up above that about us. See that? I can do that. All right. And while I'm at it, I'm going to flip off the location section. Just like that. Boom. Okay. And yeah, it's giving me this crap. Pay no mind to the fellow behind the curtain. Right. We're just updating all this stuff. So check it out now. I'm going to refresh the page here. Let me come back up. Let me scroll down. There's the content. After the content, the celebrities and athletes section should be here. I think it's still loading. And then the video, and then the read our blog, and then trusted, right? Boom. Yeah, for the average person, it's going to load right away. It's just for us, of course, Now that we just made the change, it was just going through the coding and updating the JSON file. So now it'll be really fast for other viewers. It'll be boom right away. Okay. Do you see what happened? I can move these in the order I want. And what if people got to here and then they left if they thought, oh, if your servicing guy's that big, you don't want to talk to little old me. You know what the system can do? It can move that section down below the next section. And then if people leave on that section, it can move it down further and move it further until it finally just flips it off because it's obviously offending everybody, right? It's causing them to stop going down your page or clicking on something. Do you get that? So the system can pay attention to user actions. Now, that I showed you that you can flip sections on and off. What did I flip off? The hour locations, right? So there are no more locations. That whole thing about hour locations is not here. All the rest of the page is there just fine. It's the way it's supposed to be. It just rolls up to fill the holes for anything I turn off. Let me show you the other part that we're going to marry that with. User tracking function. Okay, for every page we have all these things you could click on. There's these things you could click on, right? Tons of things you could click on, okay? Lots of things you could click on. So we have a list of all the things you could click on. And that list gets down to page by page. So even if I do something like I go to this particular theme, Anala, that's the theme we're on. If I go to that theme and I go into that page, right, and I look, all right, then what am I going to see? Tons of clickables. There are actually 38 potential things you could click on this page. Maybe I think clicking on the Twitter link is extremely important. Maybe I think clicking on this is important. Okay? Notice that we can set priority from low to high and we can change the percentages and stuff. So let me do it with this one. We've got a video right here. We're assuming we want people to see the video. So the cool thing is this system tracks humans separate from bots. So it does its math based on the humans. Watch this. I'm going to set the priority to high. I'm going to set the percentage I want to see convert. In other words, the percentage who land on that page actually watch that video. They click the link and start watching. I want to set it to something low right now, like 15% is my goal, just to have something there, right? Now check that out. Now the goal is 15% and the priority is high. Okay? The goal is 15% is for me to mess with. Priority high means the website needs to take care of trying to match that. Say it can't match that. Okay? Then guess what? It's got alternatives to try out. So you can put in some other YouTube links here. The next preferred one, then the next preferred one, then the next preferred one that you want. That way, if the system can't reach this goal on that video, you gave it an alternative or 2 or 3 or 4 or 20, whatever, to try out. So it can try to hit the goal on the next video down. If it still misses, it'll try the next video down. If it gets it, it'll hold still. It won't keep switching it because why test the next video? It could have a lower conversion rate. You can always come and change this and change this to a higher number, right? And then aim for reaching a higher bar. And you can dismiss some of the videos from the list that weren't helping, and you could add in some new ones you think might be the best benefit. You know, especially if you create new videos. Okay, now, when the system's looking to meet the goal, how many people does it check through to meet all these goals? Because you can set goals for everything. Payments, mail tos, click on my Instagram, click on my Twitter. You can set goals for literally everything here, okay? And then it will check how often. That's a self-optimization progress. It will check as often as you say. If you want it to check once every 25 people, it'll do the math on 15% of 25 people. If you want it to check once every 100 people, it'll do the math, 15% of 100. I say don't go too small because humans are different and you're going to get these roller coaster reactions. But don't go too huge because you could be missing out on good opportunities for improvements along the way. I like the idea of 25, but as you can imagine, every industry is different. Every page can be different. So where you choose to set goals or where you want us to set your goals can be different, right? For frequency of analysis, okay? If we get further one day, we could probably have a feedback loop that adjusts this number automatically every case where we set the priority, right? And it adjusts the number based on the roller coaster effects it sees of the people. Like if one leaves on section 3, another leaves on section 9, another leaves on section 7, then it would raise the frequency of analysis automatically. It could say double it or add 25 to it. We don't have it yet, but these are things we can certainly put into place. All right, let me just show you real fast what the rest of this is. Because again, think about marrying these concepts. The first concept is this. If people are supposed to watch the video or whatever, say you had the video on in here somewhere. I don't think I have a video in this. Say they're supposed to watch this was the video. But they only scroll on average down to here. And then maybe because they see all these big clients, they leave the page. Well, if they're leaving before they see the video never got a chance to be watched, did it? Well, the website will figure that out by 25 people. And you know what it will do? Move the video up above this section so that by the time people scroll down, they will see the video here before they see this. Do you get it? That way, it becomes viewed by the majority. And if it's viewed by the majority, what's that mean? That means that now we can see how many people are watching it when they see it. You see how important that is? What if you had people land on your page and they scroll down and you find out not enough people watched your video? Are you just thinking maybe they don't like my video and you're going to change it? Well, what if people didn't even scroll down that far, right? The video needs to be higher in a case like that. Say the video is higher, like up in here. Okay, there's a video here, right? Say they're just skipping it. Then the system will do the math and realize that, and it will swap this out for the next video instead. Does that make sense? This is the point. On a page-by-page basis, there are logical rules in the pages for how it rearranges sections based on human behavior, and what it shows and what the alternatives are, and even the verbiage. Say this was a newsletter sign up. I don't think I have one on the page, but if I did, it would be like this. There'd be a heading. There'd be a paragraph that explains why to join the newsletter. There'd be your whole add your name and phone and email, and then it would be a submit button. We've got changes in here that work for user actions. Let me just kind of go back to something here. Oh, not user actions, but all actions, sorry. And so when we're doing this whole thing about, sorry, let me just go back there. Okay, click to add alternatives. For a video, it's like this. You know what it is for the newsletter submission? It gives you 3 boxes. Put in your alternatives for the header, your alternatives for the paragraph, and your alternatives for the button text. So instead of saying, our newsletter. Join our newsletter for nifty tips and tricks. Submit. You know what it could try? 10% off coupon. Sign up now to get 10% off your coupon. Get it below. Get your coupon code here. Literally, so you can change the verbiage and let it try different angles to see if it can raise the percentage of engagement, right, to your goal, right? Once it gets there, it quits adjusting the alternatives until you come back and make changes manually. And you can raise this too, right? How is that for insane power, right? That's just something I want to explain because it's absolutely crazy. Okay, so with that in mind, we have all these logical rules in play. And look at this. Let me keep going. I forgot. There's more. User tracking, we track the IP addresses, we track the city, we track the state and the country, we track where they went and what they did, like what they clicked on or where they were, what page they were on when they did it, okay? And we track their engagement score. The more they click, the higher the score goes. So obviously many of these things, these are not spoofed as much as forced. We're just making sure that people come back in order to get the scores up for the testing that we've been doing on purpose, because this is all testing stuff, testing platform, right? That's what I'm showing you right now. Okay, I want to show you the importance of that, though. We can dig deeper. We can connect features that allow us to see more information about who this is. And not just that, if we have the date timestamp, you know what we can do with the date timestamp of all these visitors, right? We can compare them to our logs. So if we have something like a live chat and somebody starts talking to us, we can figure out exactly who they are without having to ask them. We can tell if they're in the area or not, if there is a particular area. You know, like the purpose of this page would work for anyone worldwide, so anybody may happen to come to this page. Okay? Now, having said that, there's more. Okay? User scrolls. Watch this. We know how far those guys scrolled in percentage down the page. This is what I mean. This is the top of the page. If I do not scroll, I'm at 0%. So if I land on the page and leave the page and all I did was glance at this and I didn't scroll, maybe I'm not even human. Maybe I'm a bot. But I'm certainly not interested enough, which means you want to discount me from the logs, right? Because we're tracking all the scrolls, we can decide who's human and who's bots, and we can decide what cutoff we want. They scroll at least 4% of the way down, or 65% of the way down, 20% of the way down, before we give them the engagement score, or before we make certain adjustments. We can set standards because we have it right here. We know what everyone's doing. So we can react very well to the guys who are showing enough interest in their scrolls. And yeah, we have the date timestamps. Okay? Oh, a quick note too for matching other logs. We had somebody say, what about this? When I look at this date timestamp and I want to compare it to my logs from my chat service, right? The date time it shows here is different from the date time used there. So I always have to remember to subtract 3 hours or something like that. Guess what? We dealt with that. Check this out. If I go to here, general settings, I get to set the time zone. So I can type anything in here. It works with worldwide time zones. So, you know, I could say like Milan. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not in there. But, of course, the first one won't be in there, right? But there you go. There's like Los Angeles. So I could select that. And the point of setting that is that now the logs are going to start using my new time zone. So if my other tracking system is based on the Los Angeles time zone, right? By setting this here, I can cause the new records here from now on to use that new time zone. Does that make sense? How's that for cool? Okay, so we are tracking scroll down, so we know who's interested and who isn't as far as that goes. And also, we're tracking user actions, which are clicks. Like I was saying, for engagement score, we get the clicks, right? And what now? We are tracking user exits. So for every single page, right? If we are looking at, let's say we're looking at the page, right? And I'm trying to make sense of this. So let's say, for the fun of it, let's say the page is clinical data. It seems like that guy left on this section, that guy on that section. I can go look at that clinical data page and see if that makes sense to me. Should they leave after they read the content, or or did they click to something else? Right? Look at this. This is the contact us page. Yeah, I would expect them to leave after they read the content. Okay? And this goes on further. Oh, check that out. They left when they got all the way to the footer on the contact us. So I can just go and look and see why they scrolled all the way down, kind of thing. But it's the averages that matter to me. What about the next page? Facts. Okay, yeah, content. They came, they searched for 1 or 2 facts, they found it, they read it, and they left. That makes sense to me, right? That they left on the content, right? If it said they left on the logos, client logos or something like that, if I saw a lot of people leaving on those client logos, like the client logos section, then I'd say, oh man, maybe I should turn that off. But again, if I have priority set, then my website is making those adjustments for me because we told it to do that. We told it to think on its own feet. And page by page, independent from every other page, make whatever adjustments are necessary to do what? Increase two things. One, time on page. In other words, we're trying to get people to stay on the page and not bounce. We want them to have a good experience. If somebody's responding to your ad or they're clicking on Google and they land on your page, the conversion is what you want them to do, and you can set different conversions. I want some of them to watch the video. I want some of them to click on the Instagram link. I want some of them to sign up for the newsletter. And you set your percentages and turn the priority on high, and you set your alternatives where alternatives exist, right? This makes sense. But then what do? You want the website to work on watching how people act. For when they land at the top of the page and start scrolling down, we want to maximize the time they spend on the page. And for us, it kind of means the amount of scroll down they do, and or if they click to another page. See, you can't count it against scrolling if they click to another page, right? That's why we track engagement scores. Maybe a guy starts here at the top and then he comes down, he reads the content, he goes through something, and at one point he decides to view more about us and he goes to that other page. When he does that, he only scrolled, what is this, about 20%, maybe 25% of the way down the page, right? Like 25% of the way, right? He only scrolled about 25% of the way, but he clicked something. Oh, that's important to note, isn't it? That means that this was a good thing to happen. So if a bunch of people are hitting this page, whatever the page is, and they're scrolling like 25% of the way down and hitting the link, you've got insight, don't you, as to, hey, this is performing well. Let me double check what's on that page and see how it's performing and what I can do to improve upon it. See, you are actually getting to follow along the journey of the people, okay? And if people are clicking on certain things here, they only scroll like 30% of the way down, but they click something, right? So now they're on a new page, and we're going to see how far they scroll down and what they do on that page, right? So we just give whatever options we want to give page by page, okay? Like on your Contact Us page, you don't need any of these sections to be on. You want them to be off because you want them to focus on contacting you, right? So you want to make that page nice and simple with no scroll down hardly. All it's got is the content section with, how to contact you. All right, content is content. This is content. It's the writing, okay? This is not content. It's a different section. Different section is a who we are section kind of thing, But this is called content because it's the writing. So on your Contact Us page, there will be just a little content where it says how to contact us. Here are our hours. We're standing by to answer your call. Fill out the form, whatever it is, right? Call us now. That's a content. So we expect people to get to the Contact Us page and leave on the content. Okay, I think I beat the points in. What else have we got that I forgot to show you? Okay, just this, statistics. Right? Oh, and by the way, what's the point of user exits? When we know user exits, we can tell what to turn off or adjust or change or update or move down or something like that. What do I mean by move down? I'll tell you. Say they exit early because they're bothered by something. Ever land on a web page and it has a pop-up that says, join our newsletter now, and it's got something to fill in? But you only just got on the page. You're not ready to join their newsletter, so you flip it off, right? And then you're scrolling down. Well, you already flipped it off. So they lost the opportunity to get you on the newsletter unless they've got something else going on down here somewhere, right? But when's the newsletter supposed to be there? Do you think you should put it in high? Probably not, because they're going to just keep going past it to read more, read more, read more. When do you want the newsletter? When they are convinced, when they're excited, when they're interested, when they've gotten their interest level up, and now they want to join your newsletter. So you want your newsletter to go as low as possible, but before people commonly exit the page, right? You want people to watch the video before they exit the page. You want people to join the newsletter before they exit the page. So we set the priorities to high for those pages, for those things. And put in a goal. Maybe only 3% will join the newsletter. That'll be our goal, 3%, right? But what's the point? The point is now every web page in parallel to every other web page is figuring out its own best order of the sections. And it's figuring out what to move, what to flip off. It's testing alternative videos. It's testing alternative headers and paragraphs and button verbiage. All of that. Does that make sense? It's going through all of that independently, page by page, to improve your ROI, to improve the amount of time people spend on the page and or the amount of things they click on the page. By the way, that's what Google looks at for pay-per-click. These make the best landing pages because you don't need a split test. You get your landing pages ready and you put them out there for pay-per-click, and that way as you get people to the pages, right, it just it rearranges things to get the page to align with the Google heat maps, where people should be paying their attention and where they are paying their attention get lined up. Google loves that. And that can allow you to show up higher in pay-per-click while paying less per click than the other guys next to you. Does that make sense? So when we do the projects for you, we're putting this kind of power into the websites, the themes. What's the last thing I wanted to show you? Statistics. Check this out. The most watched video, this is it. The most redirected link, there it is. The most scrolled page, right? That's the one. How many filled out or went after the newsletter? They filled it out and submitted it. That many. How many clicks happen on the payment form? That many. Again, sample data, but there you go. These are the stats that happen live on your websites as we put this functionality into your pages. Can we set it with goals for engagements? Yes. As we get somebody between an engagement of, say, 1 doesn't mean much, but what happens when they have like a 2, 3, or 4, or even a 7? We can say between an engagement score of 3 and 10, because if it's high like this, well, these are probably the programmers or something. So, we ignore those guys. Maybe they're the guys checking the PPC campaigns or the Facebook campaigns. They're not interested. We don't need to worry about it. But we can say between an engagement score of something natural for how many times they came back to the website, like 3 and 10. We can encourage certain rules. Since they're coming back, if they came back and they already saw a certain video, we can store that information for this guy to know, did he watch the video? Did he click that button? And is his engagement score in the range? Then we can swap the video to a special offer video just for him. Well, because if he comes back again, we're going to capture his IP and we're going to know his engagement score and we'll show him the new video. Okay? We can make different pricing happen for guys with the right engagement scores because they're saving us time and effort. They're telling us they're interested, right? They're the right guys to reach out to. They're the right guys to have a different message in the live chat box. They're the guys to offer different pricing to try to get them over the hump, right? Things like that. So this is stuff that's up and coming and we're developing as we go. That's why you're seeing those silly pink pop-ups right now for the JSON errors. But it's coming, man. It's coming. And it's huge. I don't know anyone that makes it possible for the websites to be this dynamic on a user-by-user basis and really follow the people in order to give the right results to them to keep them going. You do that with all your sites, you're going to make a lot of money because your sites are intelligent. You're not flying blind. Otherwise, you just know somebody landed on the page. And if they didn't click anything, you have no idea if they even scrolled down. If you don't know that, you don't know what changes to make. You don't know if you should change the video or do something different. But for everyone who acts differently, we can decide what to do on a person-by-person basis. How's that? It's stuck in all the websites from website-installer.com Everything gets infused with that power. Anything you get into gets infused with that power now. Okay,